A couple of videos back, I mentioned that smaller chains are making more of a resurgence. Small, detail, nice pendant pieces, all these elements together on the smaller platform seems to be making more of an attractive statement to a lot of dudes, right? The big chain space is still out there and it is growing, but it seems to be leaning more towards the smaller sizes. So today's video is sponsored by Icegiant, and they sent over a couple of their Moissanite iced out smaller pieces, which are kind of difficult to do, especially these sizes. So I'm curious to see how much detail they can cram into a smaller style Miami Cuban link, which I believe are in the spaces of the 5mm. And I'll explain to you guys how most of the jewelers that you guys love can't stand making 5mm Cubans. Let's roll my motherfucking music so we can check out the Icegiant's mini iced out Cuban pieces and see if they're any good.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. This your boy C to the U to the B to the A. I haven't seen any of the pieces. They're still wrapped up, but let me just give you a little bit of a backstory in my experience in the Miami Cuban link space as far as handmade pieces are concerned, and that really tricky space of 5mm. Now, most Miami Cuban link manufacturers will not want to touch a 5mm handmade Miami Cuban link with a 10-foot pole. It is way easier for these manufacturers to make larger Miami Cuban links. It's less labor intensive, leaves a little bit less room for error because there's just so many small rings that you would have to make a handmade Miami Cuban link. That's small in that 5mm spec. It's tiny rings, tiny rings, tiny rings to cut all those tiny rings down the center, then link all those tiny rings together, then twist them to a point where they're straightened out, then put that shit and file it through, and then if they make a handmade box lock to put that handmade box lock to work, the labor cost alone will be ridiculous for you to get that piece done. That's why most jewelers will tell you, yeah, we got a 5mm Cuban, but you'll see that Italian box lock, which you know will not be handmade, it will be a machine-made piece. Now this one is not a handmade piece, I'm pretty sure of it, but they generally do hand setting on these small pieces, which is definitely no easy task. I can't confirm or deny that this is a hand set piece, but in being a small 5mm Cuban, to see the setting on this joint and how they're able to implement these small stones and to see if it has any kind of appearance with that small size is very curious. So let's jump into opening up this package and see what we're working with. Let's go. We're gonna open up this puppy together. I love this little box cutter. This is like one of my perfect EDC pieces. It's just phenomenal for what it does. It just hits all the right places when I need it to. I never travel without something sharp. All right, so let's pull these pieces out real quick. Jesus. Okay, again, open these pieces up. Boom, here we go. Unboxing is always a fun. It's like Christmas again. Icegiant and a lot of these brands just throw in these little extra boxes. I guess an example, if you're gonna give it away as a gift or to somebody, has a little logo attached to it. It seems to be very common with these brands, but I don't know. Thank you for your purchase. We hope you love the product. Oh, look, a little coupon there. Please enjoy, 30% off. Use that code, whoever wants it. All right. Not sure your ring, I guess it's a ring sizer thing, probably fell into the bag. Who cares about the bag? Let's check out the pieces right here. Here's what they come in. I could probably rip this joint open without having to do the little cutting thing. Boom. So here's the presentation right there, obviously from the Icegiant. So let's unbox this puppy here. Come with that little cleaning cloth, that polishing joint, which these come in handy. I have a ton of these things. They really come in clutch to clean glasses and jewelry, trust me. Oh, these are small. So we got a bracelet and a chain that are 5mm in width. Here's the bracelet and here's the chain, but I want to see them in detail. So let's start with the bracelet. 5mm in a bracelet is tiny. It is very small. The good part about it, it gives that versatility between men and women wearing this piece. I don't think a 5mm bracelet is good enough to wear by itself unless you're pairing it with another piece. Now I'm going to take some up close shots of this joint and I want to see it in detail while you guys are looking at it, because we're both looking at this piece together. Now we got a nice 3-row setup on each side. You got details down to the lock over here. These little push-in locks with these fins, actually they hold up very well. Nice solid construction piece. These are the typical machine-made type joints. The setting looks nice, and the Moissanite on these are actually hitting very nicely. I don't know how much the camera can pick it up, but they are very nice all the way down to that sleek lock with that double deployment clip. That's why I said these joints are actually very good. They hold very, very well. These sleek locks are very easy to just snap right into place and really hold a nice presentation. Keep in mind that these joints look a lot bigger in camera, but man, I'm telling you, when you get a good Moissanite piece, it does hit. Again, Moissanite is not an investment piece. It is solely a flexy, good-looking piece that passes all the diamond tester, has almost as much strength as a diamond, more of that sparkly kaleidoscope effect, and is attractive to a lot of people. Now, 5mm on this piece, for me, is 100% to match with a watch. Let me take this cover off. I'm so glad they reduced that snakeskin condom shit because that drives me insane. Very nice, good detail. It's an accessory piece, like to pair with a watch. Like today I'm wearing my Tissot watch, a nice little battery operated quartz piece. So this for me would hit nice on this aspect, like to pair it with a watch. This is the type of vibe that I'm on. This is why I thought it would be a good idea to showcase the bracelet, not necessarily to be an independent piece unless you're a young lady and are looking for the Moissanite piece. And this is 925 silver with Moissanites with the watch pairing, either front or back. It would be a nice piece when it's a stainless steel watch. Don't do this shit with a gold watch because you will scratch the shit out of the gold watch. This kind of pairing here just gives it a nice class and a little flex factor. You can put it in the front or the back of the watch and definitely gives it a nice flex factor, a little presentation wise. So I have a smaller wrist. I'm in that 7.5, 8-inch wrist. So ladies and men can get a good perception of how this 5mm would look with the nice iciness. Now at a distance, it still has a beautiful hit factor. And if you have the proper timepiece, it just helps accentuate that timepiece while giving that wrist a nice little wrist profile with that flare. I'm not a big proponent of 5mm on when it comes to bracelets on dudes, but when pairing it with a timepiece, I think this is the essential setup. Or if you're doing multiple of these and have a couple of iced out pieces, or just put it as an accent piece within those iced out bracelets on the other side, that shit would hit diferente, papa. Super easy deployment, just click double clasps, pops right off. This is what the 5mm looks like by itself. I mean, it doesn't look bad on camera, but once again, it's just a small piece. You got to keep that in mind. The camera always makes it look a little bit bigger, but it's a very subtle, easy piece. Like in this particular instance, wearing a jean jacket, it's a nice little subtle shine. Nice little flex factor, not too expensive. Absolutely will hit it with the diamond tester because you guys like to see that Moissanite hit Moissanite or diamond. But it actually looks kind of funky here by itself. Again, I'm not a big 5mm fan, but maybe 5mm with a little iced out look does provide a little bit of an element. I'm kind of not mad at this joint. All right, let's see what the diamond test is doing right now. See, this one tests for diamonds and Moissanite. These are gonna be hard to hit, but I'm gonna try my best. Moissanite. Let's try another one. Moissanite. But nobody's gonna be using this type of diamond tester. Boom. Whoa. 1111. Make a wish. Now here we have the chain. Now the specifications are usually written on the clasp. This is 4.7 carats, 925 silver as well. Still on that 5mm tip. And when they're this small, one thing is for sure, the links on Cubans, especially with some sort of setting, are super temperamental. Will kink, will definitely turn, so you got to play with it a little bit. As you can see here, it happens every time with these smaller ones, especially with this prong style setting. Doesn't matter if it's 925 silver, Moissanite, solid gold, all these joints have this kind of kink factor that you kind of got to play with. When untangling some of these pieces, the best thing to do, rather than being a little aggressive and start going crazy, is kind of manipulate them a little softer, because they are going to get anything prong style setting. Although these aren't the traditional prong style setting, you kind of got to maneuver the links a little bit to kind of help loosen them up when they get tangled up like this. It's going to happen every time, but you have to do it with like a little bit more finesse. Instead of going crazy, just kind of, you know, loosen them up a little bit. Same sleek lock situation. Here's what the piece looks like. Again, 925 silver with the Moissanites, beautifully clean, 5mm in thickness. I will pull out the calipers as well to double check. Now this particular piece weighs over 30 grams. Now let's see what it looked like on the neck though. These joints for me are an easy, don't think about it, daily wear with a nice flex factor to it. When it's not too big, not too small, just the right amount of size when it has some stone accents on it. What do you guys think? Do you think these pieces are too small, or you wanna get wild? I just thought of something crazy. I mean, if you wanna be really spontaneous, what would happen if you just took this piece off the neck, right? You got the 5mm chain, and you got the 5mm bracelet, and you pull the old school broke boy special where you want the long chain. Does it fit? Nah, it wouldn't fit. Damn. I was thinking if it had the same length, you could tie these two together and make an extra long version with like a dual sleek lock. That would have been lit, but it looks like the tongue on the bracelet is substantially smaller. If it were the same size, you could have done that double up and then had the versatility to switch it up. Yeah, this is what happens when you try to pull that little scamification look. Now, pros and cons of this type of piece, because I always keep it 100% honest. With something this small and this prong setting style, you're always gonna get the kinks. I suggest if you're gonna be wearing this joint, once you take it off, put it on a stand or lay it down accordingly. If not, you're gonna spend the first 5 minutes getting out these little prongs, maybe less. I'm exaggerating on the time frame, but it's gonna get annoying because with any Cuban, no matter solid gold, diamonds, CZ, Moissanite, or 925, this style setting, that sharp edge Cuban, will always have some sort of kink factor. It just goes with the territory. You gotta deal with it no matter. Unfortunately, the smaller sizes, you'll deal with it a little bit more because they're so tight. But it literally takes you just a little bit of finesse, not some fucking brutality shit, to loosen it up and give you that soft complexity. The pro on this piece is it's not crazy expensive. It's an easy daily wear with some flash on it. As far as the bracelet goes, it has a beautiful unisex quality that dudes and ladies can pull off. If you have a small wrist, you can pull it off independently. Me, I would prefer to pair it with a timepiece and have that nice little look to add that little bit of a flash element to any timepiece because it's affordable jewelry at the end of the day. Shout out to the Icegiant. I'll put a link in the description for you guys if you're interested in these pieces. Pairing these two pieces together adds a nice subtle yet flashy element that you can wear by itself or with a pendant. Give that neck profile and that wrist profile that you're potentially looking for. I'll see y'all snitches next time. You know who it is. Biggest in the game. Smooches.
What's fresh? Who's best? One of them's gonna pass the test. Cuban. For the fly gun holder, money folder, molar roller, start tag when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.